this is Chris Bentson, and it's time for another reSource Minute. Today's topic, your professional team. What does that mean? Well, it's often said that being a small business owner is very lonely, and therefore, to help you make decisions and guide you, you need to surround yourself, just as this quote suggests, with advisors, mentors, and colleagues. What does that look like? Think of a virtual boardroom. You're not a publicly held entity, so you don't have a real board, but who do you need to surround yourself in your virtual boardroom? So this is you, and if you have a spouse or a partner, we think they know your gaps well, and in big decisions, they're probably your best sounding board. They know how you make decisions, they know where you make mistakes, so make sure and run big decisions by your spouse or partner. You'll need an attorney from time to time as you sign contracts for leases, for bringing partners in, for selling your practice, adding, buying a practice, those kinds of things. So as a general rule of thumb, anytime you're signing a legal document, have your attorney that's familiar with contract law review that before you put your signature on that. That'll keep you out of the ditch. An orthodontic mentor, who's that? Well, you need somebody not just as a clinical mentor, but somebody perhaps that you sat next to for your ortho program, perhaps a professor that you did your research under, perhaps just a good friend in your town, the person you bought the practice from, something like that. But this person, in this sense, is really meant for, hey, I've got an HR problem. You've been through this before. How do I handle this? So not just clinical diagnosis and treatment questions, but an orthodontic mentor that can be a colleague that you can bounce issues off of that you're going to experience as a small business owner. If you hear us speak much, you know that we are great fans of consultants and are a little bit confounded why you don't use them more than you do. The data says only 20% of you ever use a consultant. We find that 20% to be the top performing practices in the country. And so we suggest that around your virtual boardroom table, use a consultant, not just once, but as a general routine. Bring somebody in as a tune-up, as a check on you, as a motivator to you and your team. And they're siloed in different expertises, and they can also go across many, many systems in your practice. So bring a consultant into your practice. A banker. We do most of our banking online now, so it's not as usual as it used to be to have a relationship with the president of the bank down the street. If you have that relationship, keep it. We think that's a good one. But you're going to need a banker from time to time, not just when you buy things for the practice or buy buildings for a practice, but to help you with some of the accoutrements that being an orthodontist is going to allow for you. If you're going to buy a vacation home, if you're going to buy a nice car, if you're going to buy a boat, things like that, you're going to want a good banking relationship and make sure you get the best transaction that's possible for you as a high-income earner. A CPA is perhaps the most important person that you'll add to your virtual boardroom, especially early in your practice. This is someone who's going to file your tax returns and also be able to use the tax code to help you keep as much money as legally possible. So pick a CPA that knows dentistry, even better orthodontics, and understands the tax code well enough to advise you on what you can and can't do and what you can run through your practice, because you can save a lot of money with a great tax CPA. A transition advisor, someone like myself, is helpful when you're buying a practice, when you're adding a partner, bringing in an associate, or selling your practice. So you don't need these all the time, but for sale by owner is fraught with problems. It's difficult to do. We've tried that with our real estate transactions. They don't work out so well much of the time. So get a transition advisor. There are many to choose from besides us. We just added this seat recently because today, to be relevant and competitive, you need a social media advisor. This is someone that's not just going to run your IT and make sure everything's integrated and going, but making sure you're talking to the consumer in the most powerful voice possible, and that's going to be on social media. There's a lot of change, a lot of avenues. You can't do it all yourself. So have a social media advisor. This is one of those consultants, I guess you'd say. And finally, a wealth manager. Regardless of where you are in your practice life cycle, if you're just getting started, you can't imagine you would need one of these because you have debt, not wealth. But orthodontics is a high-income earning profession, and you're going to need somebody to help you manage your money. Stories are abundant about orthodontists that have made unwise decisions with some of the money that they've earned. So try to keep yourself out of the ditch. You have to have a sharper pencil to be good at this now. So get comfortable with a wealth manager and start saving at an early age. If you surround yourself with these people, you're going to make great decisions. You're going to be successful, and we think happier and have a better quality of practice life. So that's the reSource Minute we thought you'd like to know.